The Valkyries head to Atlanta for the first time this season, a dream team that is top 3 in the league in offense and defense, with not just the biggest front line in the W, but maybe overall just the biggest starting lineup if we're going like inch for inch and pound for pound. And you saw the contrast in styles start the game, where their play style is feed Griner, feed Jones, force the help, and then kick it out to 3. And early on, the Valkyries were able to take advantage of those two bigs defensively. They're not going to step above the 3-point line. And so the threes were flowing and they were making them because, again, they're dropping and the guards are having to fight through or go under these screens. And you also saw the athleticism advantage, like pushing the ball in transition. But overall, you saw why this dream team is, probably considered a contender, right? Maybe not the top tier, but they're a tier 2 contender here with 2 all-stars in Alicia Gray and Ryan Howard, 2 lanky, big guard kind of forward wing players to go along with those 2 bigs. Let's start with the positives, first of all, because I think the biggest positive from last night's game was Veronica Burton. I've been on her about her offense and just questioning if she has enough offense to play this many minutes. And when she hit 3 threes, right? She had like a quick 9 points. And so it was really good to see her take and make some 3-point shots and be more aggressive offensively. In part, though, again, because Griner and Jones were drop. They weren't going to, she recognized, if there's a screen set, I'm going to be able to stop and pop this shot because they're not going to step up on me. But it was good to see her take advantage of that. And then defensively, matching up with Ryan Howard, one of the more crafty bucket getters in the W, right? As a big guard wing. And I thought that initially I was like, that's going to be a tough matchup for her. And she guarded her really well. She stayed in her pocket. She didn't give her any airspace to create and hit that nasty hezzy. So Burton, I thought, had a really good game, both offensively and defensively. But let's go to the defense, because that's also my biggest gripe in this game. I understand you're going to have to send help with those 2 bigs and how big they are. And first of all, the refs weren't letting the Valkyrie fight for position early on. Like they come down the court. They weren't letting them bump them and not let them get to their spot. And so both Griner and Jones were catching the ball 2 feet in the paint a lot. So there's the root of the problem, if you really want to get to it, and how softly they refereed those 2 bigs. But the second issue I had is, okay, you're going to send help, right? You don't double off the pass. To me, that was like an extremely flawed strategy. So the entry pass player, the guard on the perimeter that's passing the ball to the post, they were doubling right off the pass. I just don't understand it at all. Not only that, they're sending a third. And so, Atlanta, one of the top teams in 3-pointers made this season. You see why, because those 2 bigs generate so much help. I'm not saying you don't send the help. I didn't like the way they did it. I thought it was unorganized and I thought it was too predictable. And by the end of the game, you saw them get hot from 3. Naz Hillman had a career night. What do you know? And Howard's knocking them down as they're just swinging it around. They had to be more creative with the way they were going to send the help to those 2 big post players. And it's not like they were going to turn and make a quick basket. Both of them are so slow and plodding. You could have brought the help later, right? They had to be more dynamic in sending that help. Mo Billings, revenge game. She got the start, played 6 years for the Atlanta Dream, and she was turned up. Like, she played well, I thought that was fine. But maybe when you take a look, again, this is the biggest front line in the W. But what perhaps this Valkyries team is missing is a tank big, right? Like a bruising big, a heavy big. That when you have these matchups with some of these bigger girls, we don't necessarily have to sell out all the way once they catch it on the post. But Leticia Amihir, she played well off the bench, and you saw her have her advantage offensively with the foot speed. Probably could have went to that more often. And the disappointing thing is, you hit that many threes, you shoot the 3 ball that well, you got to win that game, right? You got to win that game. But again, strategically, they never changed it up. They sent 3 every time, and it was coming off the pass to those 2 veteran bigs. And that's my issue, I think, with Nakase right now. Like, she's clearly head coach material. She has them motivated. She's building a culture, right? They believe in her. Like the big things, the big picture stuff, I think she's proving to be really good at. The in-game adjustments have been poor so far. Now, maybe you get a better assistant coach there. But yeah, the helping off the pass was crazy. The other thing that blew up the offense late in the game was because they had some success with the handoffs for Kate Martin, got going there a little bit. Everybody was shooting the three well. But once they started to sit on those handoffs and blow up the dribble handoffs, backdoor, right? And I know that you'd like the players to intuitively do that. But you could call that out as a coaching staff in a timeout or a stoppage. Like, hey, they're shooting the gap and jumping these handoffs. Hard plant, backdoor, whoever's the post that's holding the ball, tuck it in and drop it off, right? We didn't run one of those in that fourth quarter. And then Tiffany Hayes, looks like she hurt her right knee. Initially, I thought it was a knee-to-knee like Kayla had earlier in the game. But doing my breakdown this morning, and that I'll put that link in the description, it was a non-contact. It looked like she just landed on it kind of inward and hobbled off to the corner. And so the final, 3 minutes of the game, here we are in a 1-2 possession game, clutch time, and she's off the floor, and you're left with Burton trying to get to the basket against those Giants. Kayla got blitzed with her back to the basket. That's the other thing that I think that they need to do here as they kind of get back in sync is, I guess, the term I'm looking for with the roster settling in here. Temi, I thought, did a really good job on the two bigs, even though they weren't letting her bump as much as they should have. So she did have some fouls, but she did a pretty good job fronting, quartering, and making it hard on the catch. She didn't need as much help, is my point overall. But as good as she was defensively, she turned down a three late in the game. I don't know if she took a shot last night. And so by the end of the game with her on the floor, that's why Kayla got blitzed, because Temi was not an offensive threat or factor. And they were able to blitz Kayla, and that kind of ended it with another Hillman three or Howard three. And we know Temi's perfectly capable of not only shooting the three, but she's got great hands and touch around the basket. And so I'd like to see them get her involved offensively more, because we need her defense, her rebounding, her veteran savvy. But if she's not going to be guarded on the offensive end, that's putting a lot of pressure on this team that is still challenged in half-court offensive sets, especially without Tiffany Hayes out there. We'll see if she plays on the rest of this road trip, because it didn't look like a knee-to-knee to me. It looked like some sort of tweak to the knee, which is far more spookier. But the rest of this road trip is not going to get any easier. You head to Indiana Wednesday, where you know they're looking for revenge. They're feeling good with their cup championship, right? And then the last stop is back in Vegas against the Aces, where they're absolutely looking for their revenge after we embarrassed them on national TV, a couple weeks ago. And so we'll see, man. It's gonna be tough here to stay afloat, but you want to hang around 500. This could be a real key point of the season. You get everyone back. You're trying to reintegrate everybody, and you're on this road trip. Can you keep your head above water and at 500? Burton, keep shooting, right? And then you got to figure out that frontline matchup. Is it going to be just matchup dependent? You understood Mo is going to play in this matchup. What does it look like in Indiana with Aaliyah Boston, who's super physical? I like the Mo Billings matchup in that matchup more than, say, a Talbot or even a Salon. However, if Tiff Hayes isn't going to be playing in these matchups, now Salon becomes more valuable with her ability to take and make shots, right? She can get her own shot. So we'll see if she gets back in the fold in these next two games to close out this road trip. As always, hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.